Carrie Sewell. As the first black woman elected to Congress from the state of Alabama, Sewell has already made a name for herself. This Black History Month, we talk with Congresswoman Sewell about her historic win, growing up in Selma, and the women who inspired her to run for office.
I come from a great tradition of public service, both from my parents and my grandparents in Alabama. My mom actually was the first African-American woman to sit on the city council in Selma, Alabama. So I knew that public service was going to be an important part of my life, and I had the pleasure of working on the Hill as a college intern for my congressman from the 7th Congressional District. So I feel in some ways it's a full circle moment for me to have the opportunity to represent my home district.
This isn't Sewell's first time making history. After graduating as Selma High School's first black valedictorian, Sewell left her hometown to attend Princeton. She then went on to earn a master's and a law degree from Oxford and Harvard, respectively. After a successful career in the private sector, she comes to Washington amid a less than ideal climate for a Democrat.
You know, I think that the real challenge, is to be the voice for to be an advocate for your district, and that doesn't change whether it's Republican controlled or Democrat controlled. Clearly, it'll be a little bit more challenging, but I look forward to working across the aisles with my colleagues, both on the Republican side and obviously with my colleagues within the party, within the Democratic Party, and as well as my delegation from Alabama. At the end of the day, it's really about moving Alabama, this district, and this nation forward, and economic growth and jobs. And economic development is the #1 issue that I think the American public wants Congress to work on.
And that's where Sewell is directing her focus. With aging infrastructure and an unemployment rate nearly double the national average, her district is a microcosm of some of America's worst problems.
My district has many bad roads and bridges, and so I think that working on improving the infrastructure and creating economic corridors will be a real important part. Investing in its human capital, workforce development, and career and technical training, I think will be important. Education. I think that an educated workforce will really allow us to be prepared for 21st century jobs and opportunities.
The Congresswoman says her district's greatest asset is its people. While it will always be associated with the struggles of the civil rights movement, she says her district has risen from its violent and segregated past.
I grew up in Selma, in the heart of the Black Belt, the rural area of this district. And, you know, the district includes Birmingham and Tuscaloosa and Selma, and it has rich, wonderful history. It's the old Civil Rights Trail. But, you know, that's a past. I think that we offer an opportunity to see a shining example of what race relations can do to move a community forward. And I think that that's really what I want folks to know about the 7th Congressional District, that it's a wonderful district full of great people who just need resources and opportunities.
Why did it take, first of all, an incredible academic set of credentials and work credentials as well, and 50 years for a woman to finally get elected to Congress from Alabama?
Well, yeah, no woman, I think, has been elected from Alabama. So first remember that. Then remember the state's reputation. And I don't mean just for race. I mean its political reputation, its reputation in gender. And, of course, most African Americans who come forward in these districts are first and foremost men. This is an extraordinary young woman. You don't see her effervescent side here, but she's got all of that. And look at who she is. Here is one of the most sophisticated members of Congress today, believe me. And yet she represents a very rural, very poor district. What does that say to you? I think it says that her poor African-American constituents see their future in this young woman who grew up in their city, went to Princeton, Harvard, Oxford, Wall Street, and then came back home to do good. So I think she represents the very best in politics. Her peers have elected her Democratic peers, president of her class, so she has an extraordinary future in Congress.
Oh, I think she's a phenomenal example of the American dream, especially coming from the South and the history and what she had to overcome. I think her story is a fantastic example of what can be accomplished in this country, regardless of what obstacles are put in front of you. And the fact that she chose to come back and serve her people, I think that's great. And
but let me ask you this. If she's looking at Alabama and the civil rights movement, which you lived through, as past, is it backwards of us to look at Alabama as, in terms of its old reputation? Has it changed in these 50 years?
Oh, sure, racially in some respects. But believe me, this is a black woman who could only get elected in a very black district. She could not even get elected, and this speaks nothing about her and her extraordinary credentials, in the kind of mixed district that some of my colleagues do. This is still Alabama. Alabama ranks right down there with Mississippi, with states that value education least, with the
or maybe just can afford it least, right?
Well, that has to do with their politics. Again, this is all connected. If you don't believe taxes are good for anything, if you don't believe that you should invest in education, you don't get the Terry Sewells.
All right. That's it for this edition of To the Contrary. Please join us next week, and please look for us on the web, TTC Extra.